All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to the Smash Property Podcast. I'm Nick V. This is Akira. And in this episode, we're going to be talking about why you as an investor should be focused on the value of your properties rather than the actual number of properties that you have in your portfolio. And we're going to get into that in just a second. But Akira, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited about this topic.
Yeah, and this one sort of spawned from we speak to a lot of investors that want to grow a portfolio and they want to get a certain number of properties in their portfolio. And I think it's obviously great to have a goal, have a target, have something to work towards. But as we're about to explain, the number of properties is actually irrelevant. It's the value of the properties in the portfolio.
That is the most important thing. Exactly. And I think, to be fair, you and I also had the same goal of knowing, this is my benchmark to knowing that I'm growing my portfolio and getting better and better. So we do understand that it is important to have that number so that you're aiming for something, but then unpacking that further.
Exactly right. So let's kind of dive into what it is that we're talking about here.
Agree. So maybe you can give a little bit of light and shed some detail on what you actually mean by value of the properties. What do you mean by that?
So when I'm talking about value of the properties, I'm literally just talking about what is the property worth? Like if you were to sell it or you were to buy it, what are you paying for it?
Right.
That's important because when we look at most people's goals in property is to get a passive income out of it. Let's use $100,000 as an example. Like if you were to get $100,000 out of your property portfolio,
that's right.
How do you do that? What kind of properties do you need? How do you make that happen? And I can make it very simple in that if you were going to get $100,000 out of your property portfolio,
that's right.
You will need a portfolio value of $2 million, paying you a 5% rental yield so that you have your $100K passive income. And yes, you need that debt free. Obviously, we can maybe talk about how we can reduce debt later in another podcast, but $2 million property portfolio, 5% rental yield.
That's right.
There's your $100,000. That's why the value of the property is important, not the number, volume. Because I think you said it earlier, it was like you could have 10 properties worth $300,000, $3 million, good for you.
Exactly.
Or you could have 10 properties, worth $800,000 each.
Yep.
That's a completely different ballgame.
And I think the other thing is, I don't want to make this too complicated, but understanding the value of the different properties. So when you have a more expensive property, sometimes the yields are not there. So finding that sweet spot. So not all properties do the same thing, and not all properties at the same price point do this, right? Like the exact same thing. So you want to understand in your personal circumstance what it is specifically that you need out of that property and each property within your portfolio. Yeah. Because they all play, it's like a chessboard. They all play a piece.
They all do different things. And as you're just saying that, I was thinking about a investor we spoke to last week where it was like, I remember she was like, oh, well, like I've got to 5. Like, why am I not financially free yet?
Yeah.
And I felt her frustration. And then I'm like, well, because you focused on the number of properties. You're in an amazing spot, more than most people would get to. Yeah. But you're stuck there because you've been focused on getting to a number, not what is this property that I'm about to buy doing for me?
That's right. The quality of the asset, because you could like bleed yourself dry with some of the expensive properties and be in a position where, it's actually putting you backwards for like most circumstances, especially with the rates being where they are. So it's just understanding, I think, to your point, it's that your properties need to be doing the right thing in your portfolio.
They're just like, I was chatting with someone, they're just stepping stones to get to where you need to be. So I think the real value in what we're talking about here is, if you're looking to get into the market or you are in the market and you have a couple of properties, like a lot of people kind of they can't sort of bridge the gap between where they are and where they want to be. Yeah. And I think what we do is we just break that down into bite-sized pieces, like I said earlier, right? And if you want $100,000, you're going to need $2 million property unencumbered.
That's right.
As in no debt, so that you can get your 5% yield and get your passive income.
Exactly. It's unpacking the value and the numbers behind everything so that you can make a more informed decision as opposed to egotistical decision, I would say.
Yeah, look, there's nothing wrong. Like, if you just want to be, because I got 50 properties, oh, fuck, good for you. Like, it's amazing. But, like, I think for the everyday person,
That's
like,
not what
it's
everybody
just,
wants.
they don't want to work in that 9 to 5 anymore.
Yeah.
They don't want to fucking be on the train and the bus in the morning, going to their work. And
Look, I get the great privilege to speak to a lot of people on the phone. And I think most people just want to get to a point where they don't have to be in a 9 to 5 every day and have just a simple choice not to.
amen.
So
Amen to that. Let's ditch the 9 to 5s, guys. We've done enough of that shit.
No, exactly. So I think it's not about being flashy. It's not about owning like every single car. It's just very simply giving yourself.
I like my cars.
Stop.
What's wrong with cars? Nah, I'm a bit of a sucker for a good car.
Yeah.
That is not good
passion.
financial advice.
No,
don't.
It's your passion, though.
It's my passion.
It's
yeah,
your passion.
it's gonna send me broke. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So look, it is about value, not about volume.
Yeah.
Don't build your portfolio with ego. I think you got to put that shit aside. We've said it in another podcast, but investors with ego, you're going to run into a brick wall and
you
KO
actually
yourself.
you can genuinely put yourself in a bad position. I mean, I spoke to an investor a couple of weeks ago. He had 4 properties. I think he was like hemorrhaging like 5K. Was it a week or a month? Something ridiculous.
Yeah, I had a guy earlier who was doing $3,000 a month. No, $3,000 a week, I think it was.
I think it was a week.
He had a few properties, but he was trying to get out of that situation, and I'm like, bro, well, you bought all the fucking wrong properties to start with.
Exactly. Like, and those were like.
And the thing is, like, when you do that kind of stuff, you buy, off the plan, you buy the wrong properties, whatever. You're setting yourself back so far because now you've got to undo all of that. You've wasted all of that time. You wasted all of that capital.
A bloody strategy.
You got to start with a strategy,
yeah.
Which is super important. And I think I literally just spelled it out how you do that. So
not about volume, it's about value.
It's about value.
Quality over quantity.
Quality over quantity. What do the properties do for you? Think of them as stepping stones to get to where you need to be.
Yeah.
And yeah, look, people are going to probably watch this and be like, well, how do you get to 10 properties and how do you get to 4 and 5? And I'm stuck with servicing. Yep. That's where most investors get stuck, with servicing. So you got to get creative. You got to have a good team. You got to just earn more money to get around the servicing issue.
Exactly.
Ultimately.
And I think also just knowing what types of properties you're buying, because sometimes it's very easy to buy a property. Like anybody can go on realestate.com and like pick a property and say, yeah, give me that.
Yeah.
But if you do not understand the numbers.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't.
They don't. And as you said that, like just picking properties in real estate, like again, just speaking with some people, like I would be shit scared. Like if you're just an investor going onto realestate.com and just, I don't know, searching by price range or area or property type and just picking based on that, please don't. At least look at the data or try to get some data behind what those areas and those properties do.
Yeah.
Because
it's a concern on your face.
Because I was speaking to someone and that's what they thought like a BA does. They're like, oh, do you just go online and have a look at these properties? Because he's like, why would I pay you if I can do that? And I'm like, what? I'm sorry. What?
No, but maybe he doesn't understand the value, and I think that's where experience comes in. Because, I mean, if you're not involved in investing, like. If you're not involved in stocks, anything, you don't understand the intricacies, the detail, the amount of information behind the scenes, especially if you're just seeing it at face value. So I think at the end of the day, if you're going to take this seriously as an investor, you really need to dig deep, create some time for yourself to understand all the detail so that you're not getting, 1, swindled, and 2, so that you have confidence. Because if you don't have that, then what do you have?
Yeah, well, if you take all that away, we are just, what are we? Just cruising. We are just meat sacks.
Esoterical kind of conversation now.
Yeah, that's where my head went. And I was like, well, pull it back, man. This is a property podcast. And so with that, let's kind of round this out with some value drops for our guys here. So, okay, before you buy, you want to have a strategy. Okay, how do you do that strategy? What is your passive income number?
Yeah.
Okay.
More
then
important
you can work out
the number of properties.
You can work out the value of property that you need. Again, using the example, 100K passive, $2 million property portfolio unencumbered, right?
Yep.
Coming into your account. So have your strategy before you go out and buy a property.
Yeah.
Super important.
So important.
Think of the properties as stepping stones to get you to where you need to be. So each property must, and I can't stress enough, it must be doing something for you.
Exactly.
And moving you in the right direction, moving you forward.
That's right.
Okay. It's either giving you cash flow, it's either increasing your net worth. Most likely it's doing that so you can continue building and growing. Okay. Have an exit strategy. Okay. So know that, okay, if I've got to get to $2 million property portfolio unencumbered, how do I get it unencumbered?
Correct.
How do I reduce the debt? Have a plan to do that. All right. My plan, just keep fucking buying them.
Accumulate.
And then
I can't swear.
I can swear. Guess what? Because this is my podcast. So that is how you. I feel like that's a lot of gold.
Can I
might
just
charge
drop one
people
more
for
thing?
this. Yeah, go.
Don't charge people for the podcast. I just was thinking about something as you said that. I think investing not for your tenant, but investing for the bank. And hear me out. Let me go through this. Let me unpack it.
Yes.
You are not living in the property.
Mm-hmm.
So I think importantly, when you're investing, you are in cohorts with the bank.
Yes.
You want to make sure that that property is going to go up in value because, they're lending you money.
Yep.
The way that, the kitchen looks, that there's stone top or not, it doesn't make a difference.
Yes.
It really doesn't make a difference.
Yeah.
The bank only cares about the location and that it's in demand more than anything, I would say.
For the most part.
And that it's not going to fall down, of course. Let's keep it simple. So don't worry about the shiny things. Just make sure that it's a structurally sound property. It's tenantable. You can increase your rents there as well. Like, it doesn't have to be super fancy. It doesn't have to be dilapidated. There's like a middle ground. So invest not for your ego, but invest for the understanding that, you have a partnership with the bank and that, the property needs to go up in value.
Exactly. What does the bank want? Not what do you want?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, when you talk about your portfolio growing it, like what is the bank going to be looking at?
Agree.
Like,
I think I never thought about it that way, but that's exactly what it is.
Yeah, exactly. And on that note of gold value propositions for our audience, we will leave it there.
I got a bit passionate in the last one.
We kind of did. So apologies for the cursing in that episode. But as I said, this is the SPI. As I said, this is the Smash Property Podcast. And thanks so much for joining us this week. Next episode is episode number 10.
We need a hot topic.
Well, we're going to need a hot topic and a hot location, which we have in the pipeline for next week. So on that note, thank you so much for watching and sticking with us on all of these 9 episodes so far. It's been so good and so fun filming this stuff.
I love chatting to you.
We're going to be keeping it rolling and keep the feedback coming through. It is definitely stuff that we take on board and appreciate a lot. Thank you, everyone, once again for this week tuning in. My name is Nick. This is Akira. We are Smash Property Investing. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, catch you soon.
Thank you.